Yeah. So we are welcome once again. All right. So yeah, good to have us all on the call. So we are welcome to this episode, and today I'm gonna be one of your co-hosts. All right. So for proper introduction sake, my name is Enoch Bayodi, and I'll be your co-host for today on this podcast. So I'm not going to be doing this alone. I have with me my co-hosts in person of Samuel Kolagbade. So he's going to be introducing himself shortly. All right. So we're going to be starting in a few minutes. This is 12:03. So um, we're going to begin properly in the next 7 to 8 minutes. So while you're here, please share the link. Let us have a repost. Yeah, because this section is gonna be very, very insightful. Yeah. Okay, I can't hear you. Currently not saying anything. So by in 1 minute time now, we're starting properly. All right. All right. So now we're starting properly. So yeah. So like I said earlier, I'll not be doing this alone today. I have my co-host with me, and the guest will soon be joining us too. All right. So please get your writing material ready. Get everything ready. It's gonna be so packed. Yeah, it's gonna be so packed. So this is gonna be so packed. All right. So talking about the African $1 billion. You know, I believe that Africa is one of the blessed, not just one of the most blessed nation on earth, or the blessed continent we have on earth. So we are rich in so many things, rich in so many minerals, rich in so many opportunities, uh, and much more, rich in human resources. But then one thing I've discovered about Africa is the managerial skill is lacking so much. Not being able to manage what we have has led us into so much troubles. Some of the most richest African countries, where we have goods, where we have, different rare earth minerals, they are also one of the most poorest. And if you take a close look at it, it is because of the lack of managerial skills. All right, not being able to manage what we have effectively. That has been a serious problem. And if you look at some of these African countries that we have all these rare earth minerals, rare metals that even European countries come into these countries to come and mine them. If you notice a trend in these countries, in these African countries, you see that there is always unrest, civil unrest, there is war. All right. So these are the things that I personally have noticed. And not just that, it's something that is very obvious. All right. So before I continue, I would like to bring up my co-host on this call, who will be hosting this call together. So, please, Mr. Samuel, please kindly introduce yourself to the audience. Let them get to meet you.
Okay, hello everyone. Hello everyone. My name is Samuel Adeyeyi. It's a pleasure to be here. I am a graphic designer. I love design by passion, and I'm excited about this topic because um, I've been involved a bit for a couple of years in tech, and now seeing that Africa $1 billion in agriculture and not just the fintech aspect alone. So I'm looking forward to the discussion this day, today, this afternoon. I'm looking forward so much to the discussion. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Okay. So let's hear from Mr. Kolagbadi Samuel. Uh, I believe he's on the call already. Please unmute. We can't hear you. Kindly unmute. Hello, can you hear me, Mr. Sam? Kindly unmute. We cannot hear you. Okay, I guess it's dealing with network issues. Um, if that's the case, I'll just continue from here. All right, guys. Um, okay, Mr. Sam is back. Can you please unmute? Can you please unmute so that we can hear you?
I've done that. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
All right. So, like I said, my name is Samuel Falagbade, and I'm very happy to be on this meeting to discuss about um, what is the most important thing we need to discuss as a youth, as a Nigerian, and things we need to put in place to ensure that we get to understand things we need to know about agriculture. And also, I'm the co-founder of this community, Craterdale, and it's going to be a very interactive section today. So I urge every one of you.
Okay, I think there's a glitch there again. All right, no problem. So, all right. So let's get to the business of the day. So the host, I mean the guest will be joining us now. So how many of us believe with me that we have $1 billion opportunity in Africa? And looking at this two sector we are trying to discuss today, which is agriculture and fintech. Do you believe that indeed we have $1 billion opportunity in agriculture in Africa compared to fintech? If you believe, just give me an emoji, you can raise your hand or something. If you really believe that Africa is so blessed that the vast amount of resources we have in agriculture is in billions of dollars, in fact, trillions of dollars, compared to fintech. All right, compared to fintech. I know that there's money in fintech. In fact, I myself am a developer, I'm a programmer, I'm an AI engineer, and I know what is inside of fintech. But let's come to the truth of the matter. In Africa, we are so blessed with natural resources that all we need to do is learn how to manage what we have. If we can manage what we have and tap into the resources of what we have, especially in the field of agriculture, the opportunities are endless. Honestly, the opportunities are really, really endless. So, and one thing I've known about Africa is we have this mentality of um anything that comes from the West is better than what we have. Yes, we have that mentality of anything that comes from the West, maybe the European countries, America, is better than whatever we have in Africa. We try to look outward and see the opportunities we can gain from those Western countries, while we fail to see the golden mine we have beneath our feet. All right. So, and these are the things that we are going to be demystifying today. We are going to learn a lot of things today. Talking about seedling, talking about land ownership and all is going to be so mind blowing. And this is one of the things that Crantadel stand for. We hope to enlighten the youth about opportunities right here in Africa, how you can build right here from Africa. What are the things you can build on? So, with us today we have the guests. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Somebody is raising their hands. It's not time for question yet. You can type in the comment box if there's anything you would like to say. Uh, Once it's time for question, we're going to allow everybody to ask question either by raising of hand or by typing in the comment box. All right. So, um, right here with us today we have our guests. Can somebody celebrate that we have our guests right here with us, and I'm going to be bringing him up now. I'm going to bringing him up now. Who is excited for that? It seems we are not excited. Let me see our excitement. Wow, that's nice. That's nice. That's good. Good, good, good. Thank you. Thank you. So, I'm bringing up our guest now. I'm trying to see, is Mr. Sam back on the call? If he's not back, then I'll just take this myself.
Yes,
So,
I'm back. I'm here.
all right. I would love you to read the bios of the guest and bring him up. All right.
Okay. All right. Um, all right, our guest is here already, and his name is John Akinloye. John Akinloye is a visionary leader and a founder and CEO of Green Tech Farm, a preacher and a teacher of God's word, and an agribusiness advocate. John Akinloye is a transformational leader and the founder and CEO of Green Tech Farm Nigeria, an agribusiness committed to creating sustainable food system, reducing post-harvest losses through processing, that is value addition, and has empowered more than 200 young people through innovation in agriculture. He is a graduate of the Federal University of Technology, Akure. Um, John is a multi grant awardee and then Agrowing and more other grants. His outstanding work in agribusiness and community impact has won him recognition on different platforms beyond agriculture. He is a teacher of God's word, passionate about helping people discover purpose, walk in faith, and lead with integrity. John represents a new generation of young leaders who merge faith, innovation, and impact to transform lives and build lasting change in Africa. So, can you join me to welcome Mr. John Akinloye? Mr. John Akinloye, are you here with us?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm with you, sir.
All right. It's so good to have you on this call, sir. Yeah, thank you for joining us. Oh, it's so good to have you. It's so good to have you. So as we can all see, we've seen that our guest is so experienced in this agricultural fields, won a lot of grants, and he's also a graduate of FUTA, because I believe most of us here we are graduate of FUTA. So this is somebody that's finished from our prestigious Federal University of Technology, Akure, and the Faculty of SAT, to be precise, right? So it's good to have you on this course, and I personally look forward to learning a lot from you today. So, without wasting much of our time, so we're going to get to it. Um, First, I would like to hear from our guest what he has to say about this topic we are looking at today. In the next 2 minutes before we start the podcast, asking of questions and all.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. I'm privileged to be here. Once again, I'm John Adekunle Akinloye. So, like he has said already, really, I've been learning right from the time that the whole meeting started. Yes, let me quickly go into answering the question. Maybe for another time we can go into more introduction about myself, but much of it has been said already. So if I get the question well, so what do I have to say about Africa billion-dollar opportunity and agribusiness in Nigeria? Well, a lot of people misquote or do not get it right when it comes to agriculture. Why? Not because we are studying the wrong course or not because something bad has been given to us. Agriculture, the only issue that people have about it is that is a right or a correct path to follow, but it was wrongly presented to us. So that's why you will see a young chap who is crossing from secondary school, who is aiming to enter the university. Now ask him that which course do you intend to study? You say, I want to study this, I want to study, I don't want to mention any course. I want to study this, I want to study that. But who wants to study agriculture? You see them, in fact, they will even sigh and tell you that, why? The reason why they are saying that is because they see the way agriculture was presented to them, it was presented as a dirty job. So that's why you will see a lot of people who are not taking innovative, who are not even interested in it. In fact, a little percentage of us were interested in it, but a larger percentage are not interested in it. So why? Because it was wrongly presented. And one thing that I can tell us today is that this meeting is a meeting that you will attend that you can always recall back and say, this is my turning point. This was the point that came, or this was the meeting I attended that changed that changed my mindset about agriculture. Uh, be it agriculture, be it agribusiness, that changed my mindset, that changed, because what we are going to be doing today is going to be changing the narrative.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the word narrative that you put there, because actually every belief system we have today, belief system on anything at all, mention it, anything at all that you believe today is because of the narrative that you were told. And one thing I know about the West is that they know how to sell the narrative so well. For example, if they tell you that America is so good, America is this, America is that, they are only telling you what they want you to know. It's only when you get there that you start knowing that they have a lot of issues. You start knowing that they have a lot of issues. It's just like when a house agent is trying to sell a house to you. For some of us that have been in it, when a house agent is trying to sell a house to you, it's not going to present the bad things or the issues of the house to you outrightly. It's going to start mentioning, oh, these are the benefits, these are these, the this, the that, and you start mentioning all those benefits, drawing your attention away from what will discourage you from, maybe getting that house. All right. So, um, so we're gonna be starting with the first question now. I believe we are ready for this.
Yes,
So,
definitely.
okay. I don't know if you can have your camera on so that you can interact with the so that the attendees can see you and you can interact with them too properly. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Can you see me now?
Yes, we can see you. Thank you, sir.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir.
So we started with the first question, which is based on economic scale and contribution, because we are dealing with two sectors. We have fintech, we have agriculture. All right. So I'm into tech, and I know about fintech so well as a back-end dev 3 years ago, now an AI engineer. You know, we have most of our techies going into, I want to build a fintech product. I want to build a fintech product. In fact, it becomes so much that when we are opportune to be in events where we have to present ideas, it's all about fintech, 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 fintech. It's fine, it's good. Fintech is good. We need it in Africa, but then that is not the only opportunity available. We have agriculture as a sector, and we should also encourage innovation around it, agri-tech, because I believe that if agri-tech is improved and we have more startup on agri-tech, we start generating money from Nigeria, from Africa. And that's a very good point of view. So the first question is section on economic scale and contribution. So when we talk about real economic contribution in Africa today, which sector actually contributes more to GDP and livelihood when we compare agriculture and fintech together? Which sector actually contributes more to the African GDP and livelihood?
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, I will say directly and unequivocally that agriculture contributes far more GDP than fintech. And how do we measure it? Because when we say something, it must be measurable. And I will say that in employment and livelihood, look at developed countries. Developed countries, what makes them to be developed, or what places them in the pedestal they are, is number one, is the livelihood that they live there, or the kind of life that they live there. Look at anybody in this part of the country or part of the world that we have, for instance, Nigeria. When they say okay, you want to relocate from here to the United States of America, or you want to relocate to another, one of the reasons why people will quickly jump for that offer is number one, because their livelihood is acceptable to the world. In fact, you will enjoy yourself. You are in a good place. I don't want to call it a better place. You are in a good place whereby everything you want, quote and unquote, you get it, quote and unquote. So, with all of these measures that I will mention, employment, livelihood, and be it agriculture contribute to up to 30 to 60% of our population and feeds almost all the entire food chain. Of course, I'm not trying to down talk on fintech. Fintech also contribute to a growing development in our nation, but it can't be compared to that of agriculture. Agriculture is foundational. Agriculture creates the value. Why fintech manages it? Do you get that now? Someone creates a company, but someone manages it. That's why you see sometimes someone who created the company, you don't necessarily need to see the person every now and then. But the person that manages it, you see the person, because that is how the sequence of it. So I'm now laying it back that agriculture is what creates the value. Why fintech manages it? So if we are to talk about the contribution to GDP, livelihood of people, I'm telling you, it is agriculture that does that. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. That is so correct. Agriculture supports our livelihood. We feed from agriculture. And come to think of it, when we talk about even having any idea, for an idea to be scalable, for it to sell, that idea must result to what people need. In fact, if you want to do any business today and what you are trying to sell, people don't need it, you're not going to sell. Now, if we take a look at agriculture, for example, the market will forever be there because people will always eat. People will always eat. And if you can have what the whole world will need to eat, then being rich will not be a problem.
That's
I'm
true.
sorry to bring in this perspective. If we go back to the scripture, in the days of Joseph, when there was no food, Egypt became so rich because they have food to feed the whole world, and everybody have to come there to come and buy food. And funny enough, Egypt is Africa. All right, so it's so funny, but that's just the truth. All right, very quickly we go to the next question. Um, so I would like to ask, why do you think African youth, for example, focus heavily on fintech despite agriculture contributing more to the real economy? Just like you said that agriculture has more GDP than fintech, which is true. But why do you think African youth, or let's just bring it back home, starting from Nigerian youth, why do you think they focus more on fintech instead of building maybe products, agri-tech products, or just investing in land, investing in agriculture, or full scale, what they call it, large scale farming? Why do you think they opt in for fintech so easily?
Okay, thank you so much. While you were asking that question, something came to my heart. You see, in every case study, there's something we call problem statement. Even in academics, there's something we call problem statement. Problem statement is a statement that unveils the current challenges or the gap that something that is left behind that is causing a serious issue. So, to answer that question, I would say that one of the greatest challenge that you have faced in Africa generally is because we have resources, but we don't know how to maximize them. And what makes uh, fintech to be heavily dominated by youth is simply because it's fast in scalability. And I've attended a number of pitch, I mean grant pitch, like was said in the introduction while they were introducing me, while I stand before founders, organizations, who are VCs and all. While standing before them, one of the things that they look out for in every business is scalability of your business. If your business is not scalable, nobody wants to invest in it. In fact, before talking about investment, with the moment your business is scalable, it appears glamorous. It appears exciting to people who hears it. So one of the reasons why fintech is heavily dominated by youth instead of agriculture is because it's faster to scale. You can easily scale your fintech. Yeah. And another thing is that it is more glamorous. When you see it, when you hear it, people and you explain to people, people begin to wow, this is nice, this is modern. And another thing is that it is less physically demanding. It is less physically demanding as touching infrastructure. So, for instance, now I want to go into agriculture, I want to go into farming. They told me that okay, for you to farm a plot of let's say bell pepper, to farm a plot of bell pepper, you are going to need irrigation, you are going to need a plot of land, you are going. The moment they mention all of those things, I begin to count my cost. Do I have all that it takes for me to get this done? Why? We are talking about infrastructure. You need to have land, you need to have irrigation system, which are not cheap. Irrigation system and materials, they are not cheap, they are expensive. Land is not cheap, they are expensive. So all of those things, they are when we talk about physical aspect of agriculture, of course agriculture is moving from one level to another, but let's start from the basis. When we talk about physical aspect or infrastructure of agriculture, it is demanding. But when it comes to fintech, it is less demanding when it comes to physical, because you can be in your house and be running fintech, and at the same time it's getting scaled. At the same time, people are getting interacted with it. Well, when it comes to agriculture, it is highly demanding. This is not to discourage anyone. I'm telling you, it is not to discourage anyone, but that's just the way it is. And the last point that I will say there is because it is better marketable. Yeah, it is better marketable. You can easily compare some. You see, reason why is that the problem that we are facing, or in a nation or as a continent, Africa, when it comes to fintech in the way you communicate it, it has a proven point that people can easily see, even though they are not seeing the transaction you are making from one end to another, but it can easily be, it is palpable. Let me put it that way. It is palpable, you can feel it. But when it comes to agriculture, you need to prove to them. They'll tell you that you may run to loss, but can you prove to us? So one another the point that I'm trying to make there is that it is better marketable. That I mean, fintech is better marketable than agriculture. That's one of the reasons why it is heavily, dominated by youth, which does not mean that people in agriculture are less advantaged. So meanwhile, agriculture has suffered from poor branding, sincerely, weak policy support, outdated narrative. Youth don't reject agricultural value. I said that the other time. We don't reject agricultural value, but the way it was presented to us, that was what caused it.
Yeah, I think that is very, very, very true. You said something about branding. The way fintech is being presented, even though this tech role and everything, when people see us outside, they'll be like, I like the way this guy is dressed with his headphone, with his
Mm.
sneakers and all. And you ask, and when they ask you, be like, okay, I'm building a fintech startup, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. They feel like, wow, this is nice, you're living a nice life. But then under the hood, it's not even that easy. Under the hood is not even that easy. And from my perspective and based on data, even the fintech space is now saturated. Very, very saturated now. Very saturated. And funding is even dropping. As of last year now, funding has shifted from fintech to AI products. So what I'm trying to say in essence is if we look at agriculture very closely, if we have the right policy, the right funding and all, it's not something that is likely to go out of being funded anytime soon because the market is too large for it to be fully saturated very easily. Yeah, the market is so large. The market is so large. So I'll be handing over to my co-host now. He has some questions to also ask. So Mr. Sam, you have the mic.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Enoch. Um, okay. So the next question is, before the question, when we talk about African economic future, looking at conversation that focus on high growth and high visibility sectors like fintechs and technology. These sectors are important and innovative, but they tend to concentrate more on opportunities in urban sectors, right? And among the relative small, high skilled workforce. So my question is, as African faces youth unemployment, we know we have a lot of unemployment and population growth and inequality. So I want us to critically examine this question that which sectors create more jobs today in Africa? Is it agriculture or fintech, and why? So that is the question.
All right. Thank you so much. Sincerely, one of the this question that you asked is directly and indirectly what every funder, I mean, when it comes to grant opportunity, every funder are looking for ability to answer this question. And I will come from the aspect of, maybe I will say it in a way that the one that creates more job and the one that creates less stress. More job and less stress. And when it comes to stress, I mean, when we talk about stress, I'm not talking about the physical stress now. I'm talking about the general stress, the thought, mentality. When I produce, who will buy this and that, is still agriculture. But when we talk about the one that creates more job, as far as agriculture is concerned, as far as Africa is concerned, I would say it's agriculture. Agriculture creates more job because number one, it is labor absorbing. It spans multiple layers. I was telling a friend of mine called me earlier today. Maybe we'll soon join this meeting. We're just talking generally, and I said something that I said, agriculture is like a word called scholarship. When you see someone got a fully funded scholarship, when you hear fully funded scholarship and you quote that word, fully funded scholarship, you know that a lot of things are attached to it. Inside the fully funded scholarship, they will tell you that stipend is there, they will tell you that shelter is there, they will tell you that food is there. The same thing for agriculture. Agriculture is a large scale enterprise that spans multiple layers. And part of those multiple layers is production. There are a lot of people that are into production. Why? Because jobs are being created, job opportunity is in production alone. There are some people who are into processing. Processing alone takes more people who are into processing. If you go to factories where they are producing food, you see a lot of ants on deck. So it absorbs a lot of people who are working there. Same thing for storage. There's a unit or dimension of agriculture that is into storage alone. Many of us, the fish that is always available to us in our environment, call it maybe the common, what's it called now? I don't want to say catfish. I want to say maybe a tilapia fish, kote, all of those common fish that we see. The reason why those fish are available to us is because there's a storage facility that have been provided for those things from one place to another. When you move from Lagos to places like south, let's say for instance Calabar, you are moving from Lagos to Calabar, you know that you can't successfully move your product or your produce, as far as farm produce is concerned, from Lagos to Calabar without getting spoiled. So there's a storage facility that has been made available, and you will know that it is not made possible except there are people who have been employed into it. So I'm opening our eyes that agriculture is not only by planting into the soil. Of course, by planting into the soil, it takes more labor, processing takes more labor, storage takes more labor, transport, marketing, export. So all of those layers has a way, unique way, or a unique volume of youth, of people that it takes in to give that offers them job. So I'm saying that fintech also creates high value but limited job. Yeah, I will say that conclusively, that fintech creates high value but limited jobs. Why? Because it is often for skilled and urban men. For instance, people who lives in rural environment, they don't have the privilege. You understand what I'm trying to say? They don't have the privilege of getting into fintech. For instance, look at what Mr. Bayode Enoch said the other time, that the funding for fintech has reduced compared, I mean, maybe for last year compared to this year. Maybe I didn't hear the year he mentioned the other time, but it has reduced compared to what we have today. Why? Maybe because a lot of people are already entering into that space, so it is getting filled up gradually, but there's a place, but there's a sector that even to tomorrow it can never get filled up, it can never get saturated. It is agriculture. So agriculture provides more job, it has created more job, and those entities are still there till date, so waiting for people who are ready to take it up and find their expression in it. So thank you so much, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. You made mention of something, said that agriculture can't get saturated. It can never get saturated, and that is very important key thing that we need to take notes. We need to really, really take note of, because looking at fintech and looking at the technological world now, no, most people, even if they don't even know what they want to really do when it comes to tech, they really want to move into tech because maybe their mates and their colleagues are going into tech. They also want to go into tech. So this leads us to the next question, and the next question is, can fintech realistically absorb Africans' growing youth population the way agriculture can? You know, you made mention of something that agriculture creates more jobs because it is labor absorbing. So now the question is, can fintech realistically absorb Africans agriculture can?
Mm. My answer unequivocally is no. Yes, sir. No. Fintech cannot absorb Africa's population at scale. I'm telling you, fintech cannot. Based on two reasons that I discovered. Number one, they are skill selective. Number two, they are capital intensive. You know, I said something the other time that agriculture is capital, it's capital demanding. That something is capital demanding does not mean that it is intensive. But I'm saying it for fintech alone, fintech is skill selective. You can't wake up today or tomorrow and say you are now a fintech specialist. Even in a month, it takes some level of skill set before you can actually call yourself a fintech analyst or a fin technologist, whatever you call it. You can't just wake up tomorrow. It takes some couple of months. You need to understand how it goes. The same thing for agriculture. But do you know that agriculture between a short period of time, by you learning the way they are doing this, you can also replicate it. Of course, there are some knowledge that you don't have. As they are doing it here, they can tell you that, okay, what you just saw us do here, you to go and replicate it. That's agriculture for you. Neither am I saying that agriculture is too simple. No, but I'm saying that fintech is skill selective. It doesn't pick everybody. It doesn't absorb everybody. Only people who have the valuable skill that can help them navigate from where they are or from the problem to solution. And not everybody sees the problem. Yeah, it's only the few people that sees the problem that fintech is about to solve that can give solutions to it. So the solution comes from the skill set that you already have inside of you. But when it comes to agriculture, it's a bit lesser compared to fintech. And the second aspect is capital intense. So when we talk about capital intense, you before you can prove or before you can validate a fintech, it is capital intensive. I'm telling you, you need to spend not don't even make me mention any amount of money, but I'm saying that It is capital intensive, both in mentality and even the currency that we're talking about. So agriculture, when modernized, can be absorbed by millions, skilled and unskilled, rural and urban area across its value chain. Can you imagine? Do you know that if I want to move my product from, for instance, let's say from Akure to Lagos, let's say for instance, I produce watermelon from Akure and I have markets in Lagos. Do you know that I necessarily don't need a learned driver? What do I mean by learned driver? Someone who is not educated, who does not have university education. And that, if you remember the other time that I mentioned that agriculture has a long value chain. What do I mean by that? I mean multifaceted aspect. We have storage, we have logistics, we have processing, we have production. Now, I'm now focusing on the logistics. I don't necessarily need someone who is a BSc graduate or who has a master's certificate before I can hand over the car key or the bus key to the person to take it to Lagos. I necessarily don't need that kind of person. Anybody who is not learned, who can drive, can actually move my product from where it is to where I want it to be. So you can move it from Akure or from anywhere to another place, not necessarily need learned. That's the aspect that agriculture has been able to what? To bridge. FinTech does not allow that. There's actually, I don't think there's a point or there's an aspect of FinTech that someone who is unlearned can take. There's no role in FinTech that someone who is unlearned can take. But in agriculture, one way or the other, it has created room for both learned and the unlearned. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? So that is the reason why FinTech cannot realistically absorb Africa's growing youth population. Agriculture can do that. Why? Because it's cut across all value chain, both from the production to storage to logistics, even down to the end consumer. You can act, that's why you will see in market. I'm painting this scenario so that we can understand what we can see physically. That's why when you go to market, someone who does not know how yam is being planted can sell yam in market. Maybe it's just to bargain, just to say, okay, this thing is 4,000 naira, last price 3,500, and someone comes and drop 3,500 and carries yam. Does the seller knows how to plant yam? No, the person does not even know the variety. There was a time I went to market, I think it was this yam. I was asking, maybe I just wanted to catch cruise, like we call it, with the yam seller. I asked the woman, I said, ma, what is the what do we call it? Maybe the botanical or scientific name of this yam that you are saying? The woman said, may I just know that I'm selling yam? The person is selling yam. The person is fitting well into value chain of agriculture, but does not necessarily need to know the variety of yam that they planted or that he or she is selling. But in FinTech, can you give a role to someone who does not understand nitty-gritty of it? Neither am I. We are not trying to play down on agriculture. We are not trying to reduce agriculture on its standard. We are only saying that agriculture has created room for the learned and the unlearned. So that answers the question perfectly, that no, FinTech cannot, but agriculture can. Hello, are you still there, sir?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Oh, all right, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah, that's a very, very, very good answer. So I believe that we are learning a lot from everything that we are hearing from Mr. John today. They are real, and that's why we are bringing somebody who is an expert from that field, who has interacted with it. So you can't jump into FinTech and say you want to start tomorrow. It's not possible, because it even take years, not months, to learn how to code. And if you are not even coding, it take years. Maybe it take years. It will take years for you to say you want to learn what do you call it? Maybe project manager, this and that, product management. All those things are not easy. I code and I know what it means, and I have some of us here that code. So, but we need to be truthful and look at some things critically. The way we have youth jumping into tech these days is alarming, and it's good. It's good to learn how to code, to learn. It's good, but we also must tell ourselves the truth. You are not starting tech today, and you think that you're making million at the end of the month. It's not possible. It doesn't work like that. You have to grow through a long process, and it's not always easy. But you do know that with just if you are a graduate here, regardless of any course you study, regardless of the course you study, do you know that you having 500,000 naira, you can get a land somewhere in a remote area.
Very true.
You can get a land, and from there, you can start farming from there. You can get some reserve land with cocoa on it. And I'm telling you, before you know what's going on, if you have very, very prudence in spending, and you can just get the right knowledge you need to get by asking questions, the right question from the right people, you can start making your money. The whole idea of thinking that before I can make it, I must do tech, that tech in codes, that tech in code of writing code and this. And mind you, when you talk about tech or anything, it's not just about writing code. Just being tech oriented means can you make use of a computer effectively? That's all. Can you make use of software effectively? If I give you a computer, can you make use of it effectively? So that's what really matters. So and that's why the next question will be based on the opportunities really involved, like how you can start. For example, how can you list that? Because we need to talk about these five things. I just want you to talk about these five things. Land ownership and what they call it. Yeah, mostly land ownership. I just want you to talk briefly about it because I believe that as a youth, if you are past the age of 25 and you are a Nigerian, I see no reason why you didn't own a land, even though it's a plot of land to start with. I see no reason why you shouldn't own a land because with as little as 500,000, like I said, even in some remote areas, even lesser than that, you can get the land. I mean, a farmland, it may not be in the urban area or something, but you can get a land somewhere on the farm. So I would really like you to talk about land ownership. Like, if one really wants to get a land now, as a young Nigerian, just trying to put life together, like, how can one really just get a land, or what is the process involved?
All right. Thank you so much, sir. I will start from my personal experience that I had in 2020. Was it 2022 or 2023? Yeah. So I had an experience then. Well, there was a young man who saw me how dutiful I was on my farm. Whenever I go to the farm, whenever I carry my farm produce to the market, because I have a motorcycle, so whenever I put it on it, I carry my cucumber, carry it to market. So this man, whenever I pass, this man always sees me. So one of these days, he just called me, said, "Please, when you are coming, please just branch here." I branched that man's place. Of course, I know that man, but we don't have intimate relationship. I only say hi, hi, and all. So he said, how are you doing? I always see you here and there. I love when youth. Please, I want us to learn from this story. I love when youth are vast in agriculture, early in their life. I was still an undergraduate then. So that I think that morning I was about going to lecture. So the man will see me go to farm with dirty clothes, and 30 minutes later he will see me wearing suit. For people that knows me very well, I'm a suit person. Wearing suit in the next 30 minutes to class. You saw someone at Futa Southgate who was wearing something that you can almost call rag, and in the next 30 minutes going to class wearing suit. So this man, he was always amazed that how are you able to gather everything? Long story cut short, he said, okay, I my brother is in Lagos, but he has about 4 plots of land in Akure here. The land is fenced, but the only issue we have with that land is that every now and then we spend money unnecessarily on that land to clear the bush. Can you use that land instead of it being filling up with grasses and all. Every now and then they have to clear the place. Said, can you use the place? I said, wow, with all, that privilege came to me. I didn't ask for it. It's a different thing for you to ask for something, and it's a different thing
Yeah.
for you something to come to you without. I said, wow, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And it took me to that place. I think the following day, it took me to the place, and we got there. The place was exactly as if the man saw my heart, what I needed. The place was fenced. So it has solved the issue of security. Because in farming, agriculture, another thing that I want you to learn there is security. When you want to farm anywhere, please make sure that your security is intact. So the place was secured. It has gates, long and tall fence and all. So we started the whole thing. I appreciated and did everything. I bought padlock. I started my farming. Do you know? I went ahead to nurse pepper. I nursed my pepper. I bought plantain suckers. I planted my suckers there. I nursed my pepper. The day I was about to, maybe tomorrow, maybe a day to the day I wanted to transplant my pepper, that was how I got a call from the man that took me there, that I should please come around. I went there, and he told me that something happened. I said, what happened? He said, my brother in Lagos came around, and he said he went straight to that land to go and check, and he discovered that there are activities going on that farm. I said, and so what? So the man said, so I don't know how to say it, but this is my brother sitting down. I said, okay. So, good afternoon, sir. I greeted the man very well. And the man said, please, from today henceforth, I don't want to see you on that land again. I needed to do like this. Maybe I was dreaming actually, but it was obvious to me that it was not dream. And I said, why? I didn't go to this land without telling the owner. This man told me, I narrated all the story. The man said, no, you must not. In fact, one sucker of your plant, don't go there to remove anything. I said, wow. You can see how. Do you know that till date, I have not been to that place. Till date, as I'm talking to, I have not been to that place. Whether the plantain survived, whether my pepper survived, I didn't know. But everything I spent on that land, everything got wasted. And as at 2022 or 2021, that I think I spent about close to 100,000 naira, and the money 100,000 naira then was still
Yeah.
valuable
It's
compared to what we
very.
are talking about. And what I saw there was because I wasn't the owner of that land. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? So
Yeah.
until land becomes your own, until you become or you until you come to ownership of a particular land, I'm telling you, you are not free, even when it comes to agriculture.
Yeah.
And one
Correct.
lesson that I've learned over time is that any land or any property that is going to be given to you for agriculture or for any business sake, if that person is going to be giving out to you maybe for a year or 2 years, you must have a written document signed by the owner, and you too, you are signing. But sir, I'm not buying it. I'm saying that you are not buying it. It must carry the consent of that person, black and white. The person signing on that paper, and you also signing. And you must also have a third party who is signing. Any owner or any landowner who wants to give you a land for free, for maybe to farm for 1 year or 2 years, as the case may be, who is not accepting to sign, then leave that land to that person. Say, sir, ma, they've taught me well. I'm not taking. No matter how juicy that offer can be, please don't take it. It's a lesson that I've learned myself. And I always tell people when I meet people, when they ask me maybe a question or a conversation goes in this line, do not take that kind of offer. Any offer, I'm not saying don't take land for free. I'm not saying you should not take it. You can get to a place and someone says, I have 1 hectare, come and use it. You can use it until you have paper document. Please don't start any operation on that farm, because people are so deadly to the extent that we want to improve our country, we want to improve Africa, but there are some people who are seeing you as an object of competition. So the moment they see you thriving on a particular land, what they've not thought about, they now start thinking about it. They now wake you up the following day, sir, we want to build 2 bedroom flat on our land. They did not tell you before. And you already planted your tomato. You are counting down that in the next 3 weeks, you are going to harvest your tomatoes. And they tell you that the block industry, they will bring their blocks today. How do you go about that? You even bet them, they won't listen to you. And sir, there's no court you want to take it to. In fact, you will have to leave that land. We know that oh Jebio, you are on the right path, but as far as the land ownership is, I'm telling you, you cannot win that case except you have a written document, which will take me to the question that you asked, that when it comes to land ownership in agriculture, it is very, very important. In fact, until you come to ownership of land, scalability of your agricultural business is not visible. Until you come to what? Ownership of land, the scalability of your agricultural enterprise is not feasible, because you don't want to expand on what does not belong to you.
Yeah.
If you put expansion on what does not belong to you, anybody can come today or tomorrow and tell you that please evacuate, and you have you have borrowed, you got grant, you spent all your grant money on it, and even the grant funders are now requesting for reports. Please tell me, how will you report? What will you report to them? Nobody wants to believe that this was what happened, but it is wisdom on your own side to take it serious as far as land ownership is concerned. Now, let me go deeper into that matter. When it comes to land ownership, ownership is a long-term investment. Yeah,
Yeah.
and every one of us must see it as a survival mode. Until I think I learned this from my spiritual father. He said something. He said, until you have a land in a place, until your business has a land, until your company has a land, you do not have a foothold in that city, in that state, in that country, in that community. If you call yourself a Nigerian, until you have a land, of course, I know that your NIN is a proof that you are a Nigerian. But I'm telling you, as far as land ownership is concerned, until you have a land, you do not have a foothold in a particular place, because they can actually call you and tell you that please leave this place. We don't want to see you anymore. But the moment you have a property there, you are a you are a you are a bona fide member of that particular environment. So for agriculture, it is something that we cannot overemphasize. The land ownership, it turns agriculture from survival into wealth creation. Yeah, it does it from what? From survival. Some people are doing it for survival, but the moment you have land, it is going into land wealth creation. I know of a real estate in Nigeria, and by the grace of God, I own a share, not a share, I own a property with them. They are into land, they are into real estate, and at the same time, they are also incorporated agriculture. I have some few friends who also have properties with them. So what happened is that the moment you buy land, they will tell you that this land, even if you are not ready to build, we will use it to farm. They will tell you what they will use it to farm. If it is one plot or whatever size of land you bought, they will tell you that this is what you want to plant on your. This is the return. Even while you are still waiting for you to have enough resources to go and build in their estate, you are already collecting ROI.
Yeah.
You see that now. So these are real estate who have imbibed. These people, they are not only after the profit, they are seeing into the future of Africa. That we are not only building a place, a monumental place for people to come and reside in, we are also building sideways something that people can boldly say, even in what I have on ground, I'm already making a profit, I'm already getting wealth. Ownership gives you a kind of access to places, yeah, and it passes value to generations.
Very
So when
correct.
you renting land up limits your scale and discourage investment. Nobody wants to invest. See, if you tell me tomorrow
Mm.
that you have a big enterprise, you have a big farm, if you tell me that that land is rented, I can't invest in it. Yeah, I can't invest in it. Maybe the reason why you have gone for grant proposal and all over time and you have not been selected, maybe it's because they ask you a question that do you own the land or you are renting that I rented it. So they are now saying, okay, because most of the responses that we get from funders sometimes they don't actually tell us the reason why they didn't pick us. So
Yeah.
this thing will also equip us with knowledge that when you get to some certain places, this is the way to talk. This is the way to defend yourself. We are not saying you should lie, but we are also telling you that you should aim bigger at getting land. At least get a plot of land. Like my brother said, Mr. Bayode said the other time, as a Nigeria, as a 25-year-old person, I'm telling you, at least you can get a plot of land in rural environment. I have a friend now who we graduated together, not even from the same university, who has about maybe 2 hectares of cocoa farm. The money he made, do you know that cocoa was very expensive last year? The money, when we were in 200 level, we started this cocoa farm. Everybody, that guy looks stupid to everybody. Because when we were 200 level, it was the time that, all of this AI, all of this tech, all of that was when it, for me, like I said, maybe that was when it was gaining more ground on campus. Everybody is doing tech, everybody is doing coding and all. So this guy, he looked stupid to everybody. He went ahead to buy that with the little resources he had. Last year, the money he made last year, I'm telling you, combined together, maybe it's nothing less than 20 million naira, having invested little amount into it. So I'm saying that he got that because he invested into land for agriculture, and for every kind of business that you can do. So I'm saying it that agriculture thrives, land ownership thrives, and I mean our value, whatever we want to do, thrives based on land ownership. You can't thrive in agriculture until you have your own land. You can't thrive in agriculture until you have your own land. Thank you.
Wow,
Wow,
wow.
wonderful,
That is so
wonderful.
wonderful. I'm really learning a lot today. Honestly, like I'm learning a lot today. This is so wonderful. Mr. Sam, I think you want to say something. Let me give you time to say whatever you want to say before I add one or two to it.
Not really. I'm really impressed with the whole explanation. Like really impressed with the whole explanation, and I think this is a call to action for every one of us. It's a call to action. We don't need to just like we have said. We don't need to wait for white collar job. We don't need to wait for one government to work, or probably your or one of your uncle, your siblings, your auntie, your nephew has promised you a job, and you are like, oh, by the time I graduate, probably we have some undergraduates here in our midst, or you are still like, oh, when I graduate, I will be getting a white collar job. No, you don't need to wait till then. There are a lot of opportunities available for us in agriculture. Just like he has said, we have different types of, we have different aspects of agriculture. We have the livestock. If you don't want to go into the farming aspect, you can go into the livestock aspect. If you don't want to go into the livestock aspect, you can go into the marketing. Yeah, you might not be the one producing it, but you might be the one marketing it. You might not be the one marketing it, you might be the distributor of it. So there are different layers, there are different aspects in which we can even venture into. We have the value chain aspect of it. So I think this is a call to action, just for us to know to put our hands on something doing. If you have any money with you and you just feel like, oh, this money you are not using it for something, it's better we invest it into agriculture, because that is where the money is. That is where the money is. We've already concluded the other time that fintech is something that takes years before you can really achieve a lot in it. I think let me quickly share this little story. I think I've shared it with my with Mr. Enoch. I know one of my friend was like, he messaged me because I'm also a tech a tech bro. So one of my friend messaged me and he was like, we both graduated from FUTA as well. So he just messaged me and he was like, Samuel, oh, I want to learn tech. I want to learn tech. What part of tech can I learn just one for a month and I'll start making six figures? I laughed. Imagine you just want to learn tech for just 1 month and start making six figures. I laughed, and it was like telling me I've registered, I've taken a course on Udemy, I've started learning Python, I've started learning JavaScript, I started learning CSS. Also like, So he now after a month he messaged me back and was like, "Oh, I'm now a professional data analyst." I said, "After a month?" I was just laughing. And I asked him, "Okay, have you done any project?" He said, "No." I said, "Okay." I gave him some little things to do, like some project to work on. He couldn't do it. I was like, "Bro, you have to calm down. If your priority is about the money, you don't want to learn, you don't want to take your time to build, then you are not ready for tech. You're only ready for fintech." So what am I trying to say is that but compared to agriculture, there are a lot of things we can we can go into in agriculture, not necessarily just like our guest speaker has said the other time, not necessarily that you need to know the in-depth of it, like you need to go into the farming aspect of it. You can be a distributor, you can be the marketer aspect of it, you can you can just go into any of the branches, you can go into livestock. Now I was following someone on I have a particular brother that I used to view his status on my WhatsApp. And this guy, he is into livestock farming and he has some broilers, layers, some hens and all like that. And he's like he was trying to he was trying to encourage his viewers, saying that you can get just two layers of just two layers or broilers, you can just get them. And this will give you, like, when they start producing egg, and you don't even need to be a consumer, you can be a producer yourself. Imagine producing egg yourself. You don't even need to go to the market and buy egg. I was like, and I think about it. I think, and I said, yeah, this is actually true. Because sometimes all this layer, they can lay like 5 6 egg at a time. And do you know how much one egg is? The cost of one egg now, just the cost of just one egg. So I think it's something we need to look into and is a call of action for us. Thank you. Over to Mr. Enoch.
Yeah, thank you so much for that contribution. Like the aspect of the land ownership really blows my mind. The way he expatiated it one after the other, and I believe it's something we need to really learn from. That is so well explained. So, and for everyone here now, I'm just going to be asking another practical question about this land ownership. I think we are moving close to the end now. This may be the last question we'll be asking. So, for some of us, we are into tech. We're already making money. For some of us, we are not into tech directly, but we are making money in our business. Now, this is land ownership we're talking about. And as you can see, the guest has already said, if you don't have a land in a place, you don't really have foothold in that place, and it's very correct. So, for me, I would suggest that as you're making money, either from your business or from anything, gather money together and buy land. Very, very important. Gather your money together and buy land. I like you said too about some real estate company. There's some real estate company in Abuja too that they market that same thing. With just maybe 7 million, 3.5 million, you buy the land and they plant, what do they call it, palm tree. They plant palm tree for you. They tell you the return. They are taking 40% of the return. You are taking 60. And we can look into all those aspects and see that we have a lot of opportunity connected to this agriculture that we're talking about. A lot. So you don't even need to go to farm now to go and farm yourself to be able to make it from agriculture. You can give it to those kind of investment company and they do it for you. And you just share the output with your signed document and everything. So the question I'll be asking is I would like Mr. John to give us some of these real estate organization, if he has some of their name, because this is a very, very practical class. We can get the name down. And maybe some other reserve areas, maybe government reserve area where land can be got into for agricultural purposes directly. I know there are some reserve area that they are government reserve, and all you have to do is to pay, and the land is yours. So I would just like him to just tell us some of those um some of those things, like their name, so that we can practically take action after this meeting. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you so much, sir. I'm grateful for the privilege. Well, for my own end, I've heard about a couple of them, but I don't want to talk about or mention the ones that I've not tested. Yeah.
Okay.
One that I've tested is the one I'm going to mention. Is the one called Adbond. 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 Adbond Homes.
Okay.
Adbond is located in Ogun State, they have in Osun State, they have in Abuja, they have in different places in Nigeria. So what they do is that as much as they are into building, constructing monuments where people can eventually come and stay, because they are also into the business of agriculture. They are also into the business of agriculture whereby people can invest or buy land. You can start paying. In fact, they even brought it down to the extent that you can pay maybe 20,000 naira every month. By the time you relate to them, they will give you how the nitty gritty, they will paint it to you. This is the way it works. You can easily get your parcel of land. You can always increase it. And one beautiful thing that I've also learned about them is that maybe when we speak with them, or when by the time you want to relate to them, they will tell you all of this. One of the another thing they do is that they do land transfer. For instance, they have properties in Lagos, they have properties in Abuja, they have properties in Oyo State, and you want to transfer your land from the one from Lagos to Abuja. You already got land with them. You want to transfer your land, you can't carry the land, but what they do is that they do what we call exchange. So what you land, the one in Lagos, they tell you the worth of that land at the moment, at that time, and at the same time when you get to Abuja, they tell you the worth of the land in Abuja. If you it will be needed for you to add more money for you to get the one in Abuja, they will inform you, or you get the one that is a bit cheaper, maybe in different, land varies with price depending on location. You
Yeah.
understand? So they do all of those ones. So the one that I can recommend for you is Adbond. I know several ones, but I don't want to mention them because why? One thing that I've learned over the years is that what a leader has not tested, you should not recommend it. I'm not saying that they are bad. If you have them, if you have tested them, if someone has spoken well, if you can trust them, you can go ahead. But the one that I've seen and they are doing is the one that I mentioned, Adbond. Adbond is in Ogun State. They have in different places in Nigeria. They have in Osun, they have Ondo, and different places in Nigeria like that. They have in Abuja too. So
Yeah.
that's about that. Yeah.
Okay. What about government reserve areas? Let's just speak about that sharply. Government. We do you also know some government reserve area for farming that government can allocate by you paying money?
Yes, there are. You see, one of the challenges that we have, because I have the privilege of growing up from a farming background. Of course, I have a bit of knowledge about that. Some of our fathers who started agriculture, cocoa farm, if some of us may hear the story in the narrative that happened in Ondo State for maybe about 7 years ago till date, they are having one issue with some of the farmers in Ondo State, precisely along or Ijebu Ode Road. There are some farm settlement. I mean, there are some government properties that are located in that environment, but it was handed over to farmers without proper documentation, without meeting the real person. When someone comes to you and surface and say, I am a government representative, and he gives you every proof that he is a government representative, and that proof they are false. So all of them, they went over to that land. It's a government land. All of them knows that it is government land. They farm there. In fact, they've been farming there for close to 20 years now. They didn't have any issue. Whenever they request for money, they gather their money, they send it to that person, maybe they call themselves a group of people. But for 5, 7 years ago down the line, they've been disturbing them. In fact, government told them that they should evacuate that land. How will you tell me to evacuate the land that I planted my cocoa about 15 to 20 years ago, when I just started reaping the major profit of my cocoa farm? So the issue they had there was that they didn't go through the right channel. So as an educated person, you may meet someone who says, I've been doing cocoa farm for 20 years now and I'm making money. You to come and get cocoa farm here. Don't go blindly. That I know that that's a juicy offer. Don't go blindly. In Ondo State, at the moment I'm not in Akure, in Ondo State, if you want to get that kind, those opportunities are in Ondo State. I don't know of any other state. Those opportunities are in Ondo State. But many people don't have this knowledge, so they don't approach them. So it is the organization that you have knowledge about that you approach. So there's a maybe I will do more findings to get the name of that ministry in Ondo State. That Ondo State has land. If you want to go into poultry farm, they will tell you that we have land like a settlement where you can do your poultry farm. In fact, government will not disturb you in the next 50 years, because you are going to make an agreement that okay, you are going to be farming here for the, and they are going to be getting their returns. And in fact, from what I heard, their return is very, very cheap. Why? Because they want to promote agriculture. Are you getting it now? So there's that ministry in agriculture, uh, under agriculture in Ondo State, whereby you can go to them. Oh, what do you want to farm? I want to farm cocoa. How many plots of land, how many hectares of land do you need? I will need up to 10 hectares. Okay, let's go. This is the amount you are going to pay, and all of it. And you have that settlement. I believe that if Ondo State can have it, every other state will have it, except for urban state who does not have land. You can't say, oh, Lagos State has cocoa farm. I don't know. I don't know. But you know, when we talk about Southwest, the rainforest region, Ogun State, Ondo State, Osun State, Ekiti, Benin City, you can see that those places they have rainforest. And if you need to go through, what I'm saying in essence is that you need to go through the right channel, get the right information, and start your farming there without, don't just go into government reserved area because you've seen people stay there. Can I shock you? I have a friend of mine who did this. I won't mention the state. Who did what I just said last year. He didn't follow the right pattern. His dad is also a cocoa farmer. His dad told him that we've seen another land though, somewhere in this southwest. And they said, okay, no problem. And they went there. They spent close to 3 million naira on that because his dad was really, really interested in investing, not just to give him some, like an heritage, apart from what he does. So they got the whole thing, they paid and all. They started planting their plantain, doing all their farm activity. That was how the owner of the farm just appeared. The owner of the whole land just appeared somewhere. Pam. The person took all of them to court. They are still on that matter now. Nobody has the right, nobody has the audacity to visit that farm till date. As I'm talking to you, they are still on that matter. Can you imagine? Close to 3 million naira has been wasted. Why? Because they just get the information out of the blues that there's land somewhere. Don't do that. Don't follow them. Go to the state. Even if you are in any state, go to Ekiti State. If you are in Ekiti State, go to their what do they call it? Government office. Tell them that you are going to Ministry of Agric. Go if you are in Akure, Ondo State. Go to Ministry of Agric in Akure. Tell them, dress well, speak to them. They will tell you what it takes for you to become a farm owner, be it a poultry, a livestock farmer, or be it a fish farmer, be it a cocoa farmer, and they will tell you that this is where our land is located. Can you go there? Can you stay there? They will tell you all of these things. And you get there, it's not that you are buying the land, but you are so sure that this is government land and nobody is coming to come and chase me away, even from now to the next 50 years, 100 years. Anywhere you farm for 100 years, I beg, what do you want? In 100 years. So neither am I saying that some people can ride on this opportunity and say, thank God I will not buy land. I will buy land though. Buy land. Government policy changes. But I'm not saying this to scare you. Even if you are using free land, government free land, make sure that you own a property that you can always hand over to your generations to come. You cannot hand over government land to your children's children. Bible even make us to understand. It said a wise man buy properties of get value and hand it over, not even to his children, to his children's children. A wise man. So be a wise man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I believe we've all learned a lot from this. I personally have I'm learning and I've learned a lot today. I've learned a lot today. And just to let us know, this whole section is being recorded and it's gonna be posted on YouTube for us to rewatch. And the link is gonna be sent to our email, just like we send the meeting link to us. All right. So please, if you have question, we have limited time now because we must not exceed our timing. So if you have question, please just type it in the comment section. Start typing. While I just go through these five things that I just want to mention. So please type in your question so that we can have Mr. John help us answer it. Maybe you have anything that you don't understand about farming or anything we have been talking about today. And you have question on that, please do well to just start typing. Start typing. I don't want us to unmute our mic to say it. Or, okay, I can also give opportunity. Maybe we can raise our hands too. Let me just give us that opportunity. But please, if you are talking, just go straight to the point and ask your question directly, or you just type it in the comment section. So now I just want to talk briefly about this. Five things um any idea must capture. Maybe it's the farming idea, you want to go into farming, you want to plant, you want to do this. In fact, there are some products that Africa can produce that they are very needed in the whole world. And cocoa is one of them. Cocoa is one of them. So, like you said, that cocoa farming is it's they are it's in millions now. People that have big land, big cocoa farm, they are earning in millions now. So now this is just on a general level that any idea that you have, and the first thing is people must be willing to pay for it. For example, cocoa, people are ready to pay for it. People are ready to pay for it. The market is large and different agricultural sector too. Number two is the fast growing market. Does that your idea that you are talking about? Does it has a fast growing market? Can you sell it to a huge audience? Is the market growing day by day, or as you sell one product now, the market is shrinking? All right. There are some products you will sell today that the next time you can sell it to the same buyer, maybe in the next 2 years. But when you talk about agricultural products, it's not like that. Every day people eat, just like I said. So it's a fast growing market. Then is there an inconvenience or problem that people or sorry, an inconvenience or problem or accessory people need to get? Yeah. Then number four, you can start execution with your own resources. Yeah, you can start execution with your own resources. Like we have been saying, if you have 200,000, limited amount of money, you can get land in some places, which is very true. So, meaning that if you can even gather money from your savings, from your business, or maybe you are into tech, some of us we are into tech, we're already making money. Those money you are making from Upwork, $1,000, $2,000 on a gig, don't spend them away. Go and buy a land. Because the tech job you are doing on Upwork will not always be there. You won't always have that opportunity for a lifetime. But when you invest that kind of money in buying a land, well documented land, the land is yours forever. So please, let's take wise decisions. Then the last one, at least 1 million people will directly or indirectly pay for your solution. So if you have a cocoa farm, for example, your market is even more than 1 million. If it's a poultry farm, you have a large market also. So this just boils down to us thinking the right way and taking the right decision. So as youth in Nigeria, in Africa at large, the agri sector is the sector you can really bank on and get a lot of returns from it. Not even land ownership alone, real estate, for example, is a very big field on its own. That if you have enough land, you buy the land and let's just say you just keep it there, keep it for 10 years, keep it for 20 years. It's not depreciating. If you are selling it in the next 20 years, you are getting a high return from that same land. All right. So the opportunities here they are endless. So please, after this meeting, draw out plan, your action plan, what you want to do next. Very, very important. All right. Let me see if we have question. Okay, I'm not seeing any question in the message box. So if you have question, then please raise your hand. If you have question, please raise your hand. All right, all right. Please raise your hand quickly if you have questions. Okay. Are we having anybody? Okay. In that case, I will give it to the guest to just give his final word for us. If there's no question, maybe in the next 2 minutes he has something to add to whatever. Okay, somebody is raising the hand. Okay, I think we should take this question before you give your final word, right? Okay, Mr. Gbenga, you can unmute your mic and ask your question.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker, and the host, and everybody else. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yeah, definitely, we can hear you.
My question is: we've talked about agriculture, we've talked about land ownership and the rights and the rest. So, I want to ask this question from this perspective. For instance, for someone just like you just said now, for the tech bros in the house, they've saved money, bought properties, and they are there. And they also want to utilize the opportunity to, instead of the land lying waste, just there. It's not waste actually, it's very appreciating. But there, I think we can still utilize it by making more money by using it for agriculture. But for those that doesn't have like the technical know-how or the chance to practice agriculture like that, they don't have time for the tech group that don't have time. So how do you think they can go about it? Probably, I want your advice on maybe you want to find someone that can be working on the land. Of course, you'll be getting your own benefit from it. So how do you think you can go about that? That it will be safe for you and not it will benefit the person that wants to use the land to cultivate. So I want to hear your take on that, sir.
Uh, all right, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I always tell people what maybe one of the statements that I would want to leave you with today. I will still say it again, and I want to answer to that question. Is that since hunger is not seasonal, food production must not be seasonal. How many of us eat once in a month? Nobody. Hmm. But so food production must not be seasonal. So in answer and respect to that question, a lot of people have asked me that question a couple of times. And what I tell them, I think I was privileged to speak to uh, Nigeria Association of Surveyors in Ondo State. So I was invited to come speak about something agriculture. So someone also told me that I'm a surveyor. I really have time to stay on stay to be available, not to talk of owning a farm, but I'm interested in agriculture. What I told that person is that number one, there are kind of agriculture that you can do that requires little or that I won't call it no time. At least it will still require less of your time. Our host said something the other time. He said there are some estates, there are some companies who what they do is that they plant palm tree, oil palm. They plant oil palm, so you invest into it. And even those people that are planting, they don't, it doesn't require active participation like tomatoes. Tomatoes is a vegetable. Oil palm is a long-term thing. So they don't necessarily, they may decide not to visit the place in a week. Even when the time they are visiting, they may just tell laborers that, okay, just do this, just clear the bush, because it's not something that needs everyday monitoring, unlike vegetables. Vegetables like watermelon, cucumber, tomatoes, pepper, they need utmost and consistent checkup monitoring. Unlike palm oil palm, it doesn't need all of those. So you can invest in all of those farm activity or farming system that doesn't require your consistent presence. That's number one. Number two, you can also be an investor. Maybe before I mention that one, I will tell you that don't be an absentee farmer. Mm. Don't be an absentee farmer. I'll take my cue from the scriptures. All of us know the story from the book of Genesis. And people, one of the conclusive parts that we say is that we say Adam was an absentee father, was an absentee husband. When you are an absentee farmer, what happens? You will similarly have almost the same end result of Adam and Eve in the garden. Because when you are absent, someone will come in and harvest your what's it called now, your produce. Someone may come in and disguise. Someone may come in and give you or implant wrong information into your laborers. And when you come back, you start seeing your laborers misbehaving. I'm just giving you a practical insight to what I'm saying. I'm just speaking words. I'm just giving you practical insight. Why? Because you're an absentee farmer. An absentee farmer is the one that does not know when pest enters his farm, does not scout, does not really have time. So don't be an absentee farmer. Do you get what I said? So the last point that I wanted to say the other time is that you can also become an investor. Investor. Investor is in the sense that you see a farm running, not just a farm running, a farm that has track record, a farm that you have seen their track record. See, before you invest in anybody, before you invest in any enterprise, in any business, ask for their track record. Even the real estate that I'm talking about, that they are also into agriculture, ask them for their track record. You are on the good track. You are not asking for too much when you ask for their track record. For any business, for any farmer, who tells you, whether you are the one that goes to them to ask that, do you think investment, or they are the one that approaches you and says, okay, this is our business model, this is this and that, we want you to invest, and now if you invest so amount, you get this ROI. Still ask for their track record. Track record is a proven data that gives you the access, or that assures you that if I invest here, I've not wasted my resources. Because that someone tells you and give you sweet, because anybody can come and tell you that, don't worry, I do this, they will sweet talk everything. They will tell you that in 3 months you will get 6 million naira in return. Am I saying those statements are wrong? No. But I'm saying that as beautiful, as glamorous and attracting, exciting those statements, money, when we hear money, something in our head changes. Even me, when I hear billions now, I'm not saying naira, billions of dollars, because me have my mentality has moved from billion naira to $1 billion. So when you are talking about $1 billion now, my nerves, everything adjusts. So people get excited when they hear what they will get in return for a certain amount they are giving. Don't only be sweet talked. Get what they are doing. Know the intent. You may not know how they practice it, but at least let them run you through. Go and see what they are doing there physically. See what they are doing in that farming activity. See how they are getting it done. Prove it. Ask people questions. You don't necessarily need to, if you ask them, go and ask another person who is not there, who has a bit of knowledge about this. How does it work? So that you can confirm informations and data before investing into any enterprise. When you are investing into three things. You are investing into a man, you are investing into a business, and at the same time, you are investing into yourself. You are investing into a man, a business owner, you are investing into that business like a vision, and at the same time, you are investing into yourself. Are you getting me? So you are the one that comes last. So before any business will give you return, they must have made profit. Are you getting it now? So my point is that don't invest in any business wrongly. And how will you know their track record? Should tell them, how long have you started this business? What has been ask them, what has been your challenges? Okay, these are your challenges. What are the solutions you have been able to provide to all of these challenges? Okay, the ones that you could not mitigate, what have you been doing around it? And I'm saying this not because you must always have every dose. What I mean in essence is that there are some businesses, for instance, for farming now. If you want to invest in farming, let's say I meet Mr. Samuel now. I say, Mr. Samuel, I want to invest in your groundnut farming. And he tells me everything. I say, okay, yeah, show me your track record. He showed me. I was like, wow, this is awesome. This is progressive. And he now tells me that, okay, how much do you have to invest? I says, I have 1 million naira. And I'm about to drop my 1 million naira to invest in that groundnut farming. And along the way, they maybe something happened, climate change. You know what happened this year? Yesterday they said rain fell in Nigeria. Fell in Lagos. For people who stays in Lagos, You know that usually rain does not fall in January. Climate has changed. So all of those things happened, and they said they lost all their groundnut, maybe to earthmen. They lost their this to this. They lost it to uncontrolled climatic change. They lost it that. And you now begin to, okay, so why? How could you? So what I want to pinpoint there is that there are some challenges that even farmers does not have power over. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? But that does not mean that farmers should not say, Shebi, we don't have power over it. But we should have agreement. I'm talking about the agreement part of it, that we should have agreement that we know that this climatic effect may come, but this is our own practical step to mitigate it. But if it happens that it fails, Mr. Investor, Mr. the owner, let us find the balance even before you investing, so that you can know that this thing is 50-50, this thing is 60-40, this success is 70-30, so that you won't be expecting money anyhow. I believe that there's no business that does not have the other side of it. So I'm only preparing your mind that you can meet an investor who is telling you all of this, and they didn't tell me. From the knowledge I have, I don't have this. So I'm only preparing your mind that this is the way it happens. Get the right knowledge, get the right set of people to invest with, and get the right vision. Yeah, get the right vision, because nobody wants it to. No, there's no visionary that wants people to come and invest a short term. They want people who can invest in their vision, and that vision can be transferred to other generations. So that said about that, I don't know if I've been able to answer your question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. That answered the question.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Like, yeah, this is really part of it. The investing aspect. Try to also know that okay, there might be something might go wrong. Try to just put all those things. Yes, any investment too, they have their risks. So when you are going to agriculture too, be aware of the risks too. Yeah, very very important. Any other question before we hit 2 o'clock? Any other questions? Okay. Um, there are no other questions. So, yeah. So I want to really say a very big thank you to our guest today. I don't know if you have anything else to share before we call it a day.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, I wanted to say this along the line while I was speaking the other time, that I'm a farmer. I'm a farmer, and I've also put myself into the value chain, into more value chain. Let me tell us today, before I leave, that in agriculture there's something we call value addition. Value addition is what really brings money even much more today. Many people are into tomato farming, but they don't know that there's a time called glut. When there's a glut in market, when a lot of farmers bring their tomato to market, and there's something we call post-harvest loss. Post-harvest loss cannot be easily or practically managed by farmers, because they cannot do that effectively. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Why? Because there's no way in Nigeria. Is one of the major challenges we are facing in Nigeria, because government, they are not even helping. Even the climate. You see, I'm not saying that all of these things there's a way it should be, but I believe that there's government part, I mean government role to be played, and their farmers role to be played as well. So I'm telling us that post harvest loss is a real thing in agriculture, and you must put yourself into that innovative aspect that we call value addition. Value addition, for instance, now, I said I'm a tomato farmer. Now we are also into tomato processing. I will first show you an empty jar of our tomato puree. This is it. I can send a picture of it. This is an empty bottle of our tomato puree. So we are branding our tomatoes. This is not just a tomato paste. In market today, you will see tomato paste, and maybe I should not say this because we are online. I've seen a lot of people who went on research to go and test some of these tomato paste. I'm not mentioning any name, but I will call them XYZ tomato paste. When they discovered that 90 to 95% of what they are producing is not even what they call it. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So, but from us now, we produce tomato paste. So this is a tomato paste. You can see this is our jar filled with tomatoes. This one now you can take it to your kitchen, not necessarily need to buy any form of tomato. This is a pure concentrated tomatoes that you can pour inside your pot. Just pour oil. I'm not trying to, maybe this might be like marketing yourself, but I'm also saying that in agriculture, value addition is real. There are a lot of tomatoes in market now that is getting spoiled, but we take advantage of that. Of course, it has professional side, it has academic side of it, but we have taken that innovation to another level, that we don't only farm, we also do value addition. So I'm also saying that in fish farming there's value addition, in crop farming there's value addition, in cucumber there's value addition, in fish farming there's value, in everything there's value addition. I will recite it again. In agriculture, we have production, we have processing, we have value addition, we have what's it called? We have storage, we have logistics down to the end consumer. So I'm trying to tell you today that don't only say that you want to go into production alone, you can also be a value addition professional in agriculture. So I want to leave you with this statement. If I'm permitted, am I permitted, sir?
Yeah.
In fintech, app only moves money. In agriculture, land builds nation. In fintech, app moves money. In agriculture, land builds nation. Agriculture creates the value. Fintech manages it.
Mhm.
Agriculture produces food, while fintech helps you to make transaction of money. Agriculture sustains life. Fintech only sustains transactions of resources, quote and unquote money. So I'm leaving you with this last statement that since hunger is not seasonal, food production should not be seasonal. Thank you once again. I want to say thank you to Craterdale for this privilege granted to me today. I do not take it for granted. Once again, I'm John Akinloye, the founder and CEO of Greented Farms NG. I want to say a big thank you to Mr. Bayo Deva. Am I correct, sir? Mr. Enoch. Thank you for this privilege given to me, and at the same time, my good friend Folagbade Samuel. Thank you for this privilege. I do not take it for granted. And for every listener today, I believe that this that you have listened to, this that you have heard today, is not just one of those podcasts. It is one that you will refer to that on social date. This changed my life. I had a new turnaround, an eventful moment that has given me a new trajectory as far as my life and agriculture is concerned. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Wow, that's a very, very, very amazing session. That was a very, very amazing session. So, in fact, if we even try to look at this topic is not something that we even exhaust in a day, because he was trying to say something the other time, and I remember that we didn't really touch that aspect, the aspect of the food security. We have a lot of imported products now into Africa that all those products, they are not the organic products, they are genetically modified. And we are what we eat. Actually, we have a lot of things coming in that they are not being checked. We're just eating them. Tomato paste, like you mentioned, some of them, they are not the real tomatoes that they are not made from the real tomatoes. They are genetically modified. So, and this is an issue. This is an issue. I don't know, depending on what maybe I and my team are able to come up with. Maybe we may still have another section based on this topic where we discuss food security. But today, I believe that we have learned a whole lot. And this podcast is brought to you by Craterdale. And what we do in Craterdale is we develop young minds, especially African youth, and starting from Nigeria, to look inward into Africa and create solution, not just tech related solution alone, entrepreneurship solution. Yeah, entrepreneurship solution. So, and this Think Africa podcast is one of our flag program that we used to have. I can say it's a subsidiary of our community. we do have this Think Africa podcast every three months. All right. We started it last year, but we're able to hold one podcast last year. But this year we are back fully, and then we'll be having multiple of it like that. So the next podcast, the next Think Africa podcast is gonna be in the month of this is January, February, March, the month of April. All right, that's when we'll be having the next Think Africa podcast. However, in the community, we used to have, uh, events, week in, week out, and also monthly. All right, tech events, and that has to do with skills, AI, web development, and all. So, but we really need to Think Africa podcast is where we really talk about African issues. All right, how we can tap into the resources we have in Africa. Like I said earlier, those money you are making on Upwork, invest it now in agriculture, invest it in buying land, because the Upwork will not always be there. You won't always be getting clients. And even though you are getting clients, you can't be a freelancer forever. So start planning your future now. So that will be it for today. It's been a wonderful time with us today. And it's good to have every one of us here on this call. So till we meet next time, I remain Enoch Bayode, the co-founder of Kratadeo, and I'm saying a very big thank you to every one of us that are joining today. And I'm looking forward to us implementing everything we have done. I mean everything we have learned, because knowledge is not valuable. Knowledge is not valuable until it is applied. It is the practical application of knowledge that brings value. So the knowledge you have today now is not valuable until you apply it. That's when you start getting value from it. So start it starts today now from you getting your salary, because this is 31st now. You get paid now. For some of us techies, tech bros, you are gonna get paid or you're already paid. Start saving money to buy land now. So immediately you take a step of saving part of your salary into an account that you can't touch. You started taking step towards what we have said today. You start taking step now and start saving money to buy land. Start saving money to buy land. Start looking at what kind of business can I do in agriculture. Start saving money now to buy land. Start saving money. So thank you very much. So we see again on Think Africa Podcasts by in the month of April. We'll be bringing you a very
Before
interesting
before
topic.
we, yes, sir. Before we close, sir.
Okay, somebody-
Before we close, sir. Are you listening, sir?
I'm
Hello.
listening.
Okay, sir. I want you to do me a favor on pig agriculture. Maybe we can, in the next coming meeting like this, maybe you can tell me more about farming, agriculture farming. Pig, I mean on pigs. Understand, sir?
Okay. Wow. You are giving us suggestion. That's nice. That's nice. That's good. That's good. So yeah, we'll look into that. We'll look into that. So agricultural farming like piggeries, right?
Yes, piggery.
Right. That is well noted. That is well noted. All right. Thank you for that observation and contribution. All right. In the case of
All
no
right,
other contributions and all, so this is me saying goodbye. Thank you very much.
sir.
Uh, Bye for now, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Sam, you raised your hand.
Yes, but you already said goodbye. Um, okay, I think I actually wanted to ask a question about since he's already into farming, I just wanted to ask him if there's a room for investing in his business and all, if he can walk us through the process and all like that. But then I can actually ask him personally.
Yeah, we can get that from him, and we can
Yeah,
reach out to people in their email. All right,
yeah,
I noted it. And the link to maybe his business and all too can be shared on the through the email and everything like that. So bye for now, everyone.